Chapter 601 Uchiha Itachi's idea. Good. Yes. No problem. Namikaze Minato, the three generations of Hokage, and Xiaochun all spoke up one after another. Everyone, at this time, Shajirqing, who had never spoken, suddenly spoke up. Everyone couldn't help but look at him, but they heard him say, when paying attention to the three-way enemy attacking, there are some places we need to pay attention to. Hearing his words, the eyes of the three generations of Hokage couldn't help but gleam, and said, for example. He thought that Shajirqing would speak of the Uchiha family. This is what everyone in the audience thought. After all, apart from the Uchiha family, there seems to be nothing worthy of their attention. But I'm not talking about the Uchiha family. Everyone was a little surprised when they heard Shajirqing's words. He didn't seem to think that Shajirqing would play cards out of the way. And this village deserves our attention. Saying that, Shajirqing touched Yuyan village. Rainian village. Seeing Shajirqing's actions, everyone couldn't help but feel a little dazed. Why does Yuyan village need their attention? Did they have any necessary connection to this war? There is a mercenary organization in this village, and I suspect they are likely to join the war. As far as I know, Orochimaru, one of the three ninjas, is in this organization, so. Shajirqing didn't finish his words, but he believed that everyone present understood what he meant. It doesn't hurt, just join in, we just need to be vigilant. Let's start the discussion below. After listening to the three generations and pondering for a while, they proceeded to the next topic. Then, they discussed the matter of seeking help from Sandian village and the tactical matters of the three battlefields. At this time, the door of the conference room was suddenly opened wide, and an Anbu broke in. The Uchiha clan rebelled. He said in a very low voice, bringing this shocking news. Everyone present could not help but feel a heavy pressure coming. House seemingly endless rain. The Uchiha clan rebelled, so wouldn't their tactics be stranded? Everyone couldn't help but feel a little hesitant, and they all looked at Hokage and left. No changes, everything is going on as usual. The Uchiha clan's rebellion is suppressed by me and advisor Shajirqing. Namikaze Minato made a stern voice, with a majestic face, and made a decision. Three generations and other consultants have no objection. Yes. The people's hearts suddenly became bottomed out. At this time, the three generations of Hokage looked at the Anbu who sent the message. Uchiha Itachi, why did you come to send the message? The Uchiha clan rebelled, you. But this Anbu took off the mask, and he was a genius of the Uchiha family, Uchiha Itachi. At this time, he appeared here. What was his intention? The eyes of many people present suddenly became unkind and sharp. But Uchiha Itachi seemed to be ignorant of the unkind and sharp eyes of everyone. He said firmly, I request not to send troops to suppress it for the time being. I am willing to persuade the family's rebellion to capitulate and minimize the impact and damage of this incident. No way. Xiaochun refused without even thinking about it. I agree too. The three generations of Hokage also nodded in agreement with a dignified look. If it was before, maybe I could give it a try, but now I'm sorry, Itachi Uchiha, I can't promise you. Even Namikaze Minato disagrees. Why? Uchiha Itachi was a little unwilling. Looking at the top executives, he wanted a reasonable explanation. Chapter 602 Nothing can be done. Konoha is facing a foreign invasion and is in a critical state. No accident is allowed at this time. And the rebellion of your Uchiha clan is a huge variable. We don't have time to wait for you to persuade us to surrender. We must resolve the civil strife as quickly as possible, then confront the foreign enemy. Minato Namaifung explained. Is there really no room for negotiation at all? Uchiha Itachi asked a little unwillingly. He asked himself whether he could stop his clan with his own abilities. This can reduce a lot of casualties, and also allow Konoha to avoid a lot of losses. Let Konoha in a more stable situation. To face the impending crisis. No, there are some things that you can't touch yet, but we must be on guard. Uchiha Itachi, it can only be said that your Uchiha clan was used, just hit the muzzle of this gun. In addition, those clansmen of yours are immortal. If you don't let them see the gap and despair in reality, they will never give up. Shajirching also said, which made Uchiha Itachi suddenly desperate. Shajirching participated, and Uchiha Itachi saw no hope. This is an overwhelming strength enough to make any despair. Gather your troops and prepare to go. Itachi Uchiha, you'd better stay out of it, don't get involved, or else, you'll have to be cut off at once. The three generations of Hokage looked at Uchiha Itachi, whose face was ashen, and said with a warning. Is there really no room for a party at all? Uchiha Itachi asked again. This moment is the most desperate moment in his history. No, Sandai said firmly and affirmatively. Then, he left with Minato Namikaze and the others, and deployed his troops. Uchiha Itachi watched in despair as the group passed by him, and then stumbled out of the conference room. By the Nanga River, Uchiha Itachi came here to relax. His mind is full of all kinds of melancholy. But he never thought that someone had already come here one step ahead of him. Seeing this figure, Uchiha Itachi couldn't help but be surprised. Uchiha stops the water. This figure is Uchiha Shisui. Brother Zishui, why are you here? Uchiha Itachi hurriedly stepped forward, but what he saw in front of him made him startled again. One of Uchiha Shisui's eyes turned out to be empty. Moreover, Uchiha Shisui is covered in bruises, and his breath is weak. Seeing Uchiha Itachi coming, Uchiha Shisui forced a smile. Then, he said to him, Itachi, the family will be handed over to you. Now only you can do all this. Then, without waiting for Uchiha Itachi to say anything, he dug out the other eye and gave it to Uchiha Itachi. While Uchiha Itachi was stunned, Uchiha Shisui jumped off the Nanga River with a look of relief. No. Uchiha Itachi sighed in disbelief and wanted to stop it, but he couldn't do it at all. PFF'd. The heavy object fell into the water, and then it was submerged by the rolling river. No, I can't stop it either, brother Zishui. Uchiha Itachi slumped on the ground helplessly, tears overflowing, and the 3-go jade writing wheel eye also turned into a kaleidoscope writing wheel eye. Root tissue. I still underestimated this guy. I didn't expect that he would escape like this. As expected of the genius of the Uchiha family. Danzang looked at the kaleidoscope writing wheel in the liquid in his hand, and said sharply. Chapter 603 Pain, come. But it doesn't matter, one is enough. In addition to the next genocide, I can get more Sharingan. In Konoha's square, a total of 21,000 troops gathered completely. After 3 provocative speeches, Nara Shikahisa announced his battle plan and set off in 3 steps. At the same time, the intelligence department also sent a signal to Cheyenne village for help. The war is about to begin. In this battle, the commander of Karayan village is the 3 generations of Hokage, and the generals under his command are Konoha Sangzangshin and others. In Union Village, Jiraiya is the commander-in-chief, and his subordinates are Kakashi and others, as well as Kasina of the 9-tailed Zuli. The rest of the people wait, support Cheyenne Village. Stay safe and come back alive, understand? When parting, Shajirching looked at a few of his students, and asked in a deep voice. They all answered confidently, Don't worry, Teacher Shajirching, you will definitely return safely. But Shajirching clearly saw that quite a few people had no confidence in what they said. Then, it's time for us to act too. Namikaze Minato and Shajirching looked at each other and said at the same time. The Uchiha family, it's time to give birth. Namikaze Minato's face was extremely serious. Beside him, a group of Anbu has gathered. These are what he used to deal with the Uchiha family. The root organization still has 2 major advisors, and I will leave it to you to supervise. During the period when I suppress the rebellion, I will trouble you to pay more attention. After saying that, Minato Nike is left with Anbu to suppress the rebellion that ravaged Konoha. At the rebellion, some Anbu are already fighting. But these Anbu are obviously not the opponents of the people of the Uchiha family, and the formation is also retreating again and again. Until Namikaze Minato joins. But what Namikaze Minato didn't know was that Shajirching had sent a clone to mix in, ready to take his eyes. Shajirching is here. Danzo, I hope your brain is still normal, don't get into the water and do things at this time. That said, Shajirching always felt a little uneasy in her heart. Feeling a little nervous. Where does this feeling come from? Could it be that place? In this world, there are not many people who can make Shajirching feel this way. There are also the 6 Taoists, and the 2 legendary ninjas, Senju Izrama and Uchiha Madara. Then, Pen's 6 paths barely counted half. Thinking of this, Shajirching probably knew the source of this unease. And immediately, the person who appeared in front of him also confirmed his conjecture. Pain, it's really you. Shajirching looked at Tiandao Pain with a silent face in front of him, and a cold smile appeared on his face. Pain Ludao, very strong. According to the breath from Shajirching's observation haki, the force value should at least start at 490. Of course, it's not even close to the strength of the 9 tails. This is also normal. In the original book, Pen Ludao never defeated Jue. Thunder Ninja, first meeting, I am. Looking at Shajirching, Tiandao Pain was about to introduce himself when he was interrupted by Shajirching. Pain, I know you. You are a god. Shajirching had a smile on the corner of her mouth. But it was extremely cold, but I don't believe in God. If God blocks me, I will kill God. Do you want a taste of God killing? Pain. Shajirching especially emphasized the word slaying the gods. Chapter 604 Let's go together. Arrogant. Tiandao Pain was directly angered by Shajirching. It seems that only by letting you understand the power of God can you know the gap between you and me. After all, Tiandao Pain raised his hand to push, and said coldly, Almighty push. Boom. A huge repulsive force pushed the air away and blasted Shajirching out. But before Tiandao hotshots showed their pride, Shajirching, who was blasted out, slammed into a piece of wood. And Tiandao Pain also heard Shajirching's cold and majestic voice, Thousand Birds Sharp Spear. PFF'd. Without giving Pain the slightest chance to react, a thunder gun pierced through his chest. With Shajirching's current strength, it is too easy to deal with a heavenly Pain. Almighty push. Tiandao Pain couldn't accept the fact that his chest was pierced, and immediately a terrifying repulsion burst out. One blade stream Libo. But in the face of this repulsion, Shajirching confronted him head-on. A terrifying sword wave was slashed with one knife, and the repulsion was torn apart, causing Tiandao Pain to evade quickly. He actually confronted Almighty Push head-on. This guy is a bit too powerful. In a certain cave here, a scrawny, red-haired young man murmured in such a surprised tone. However, I am a god, how could I possibly lose to you? With a loud shout, he increased the output of chakra. Almighty Push. Tiandao Pain blasted out an Almighty Push again, even more powerful than before. Yi Dao Lu Tiger. Shajirching rushed forward. The whole person was like a sword that broke the sky, and Almighty Push was torn in half with a cold light. Even Tiandao Pain didn't have time to react, and there was a blatant hole in his chest. Heavenly Pain, please invite the rest of your friends, otherwise, you will be buried in Konoha today. Shajirching wiped his finger on the fire sword, and there was lightning flashing. He has entered the lightning armor mode, and all attributes have been increased. Boom. Hearing Shajirching's words, Tiandao Pain's momentum suddenly exploded. How could Shajirching know about his other bodies? This matter, but only 2 people know. How did Shajirching know? Where did this guy know about all this? It was still the same red-haired youth in that cave, but at this moment, his face was twisted together and he said. Pain has 6 ways, this is a secret that only he and the woman he trusts the most. Moreover, he also believed that the woman would not betray him. But how on earth did Shajurching know all this? Want to know. If you want to know, beat me. Shajurching showed a very awkward provocative smile, and then rushed out. Fighting in Konoha, he still can't let go. Don't try to escape. Seeing that Shajurching was about to leave, Tiandao Pain shouted, "Universal pull." A powerful gravitational force immediately acted on Shajurching, but it did exactly what he wanted. Chidori's sharp gun. A thunder gun that was as fast as a meteor once again pierced through Tiandao Pain's body. Chapter 605. Even with this little strength, he dares to be called a god. What, just this little strength? Shajurching stopped on the eaves, looked at Tiandao Pain who had been hit twice by him, and said jokingly. Pain Ludao, only 6 people are dispatched together to have super strength. With just one heavenly Dao Pain, no matter how strong you are without cooperation, it will be difficult to make waves. Bastard, how dare you provocate the majesty of God, Thunder Ninja, you are doomed. It is an unprecedented shame for Tiandao Pain to drink violently. He is God. It is absolutely intolerable to be injured twice by a mortal. Ha ha ha, then come and chase me, all the answers will be there. Shajurching couldn't help laughing. To be able to make Tiandao Pain so angry is also a very fulfilling thing, isn't it? Shajurching was really afraid that he would say something to him at any time. A bag of rice carries several floors, a bag of rice carries a second floor and so on. At this time, a space vortex suddenly appeared behind Shajurching. A person wearing a white mask, holding a large number of detonating charms in his hand, was about to stick it on Shajurching's body and said, "Successful." Humph. But Shajurching sensed it immediately, and couldn't help snorting coldly, but Tiandao Pain would not let such a good opportunity go. Master tricks, a momentary flaw, but also fatal. He rushed in front of Shajurching in an instant, a black stick flew out of his sleeve, and he stabbed Shajurching's back. This time, he wanted to let Shajurching know that he was wrong. Overlord's spiritual impact. Chidori. An incomparably vigorous and visible wave swept away in all directions. There is unimaginable oppression and deterrent power. The masked man just felt that his soul had been smashed heavily by someone, and he was in a trance, so he cried out in pain. But what immediately greeted him was a heavy blow from the heart. This current of up to 300 million volts quickly deprived him of his vitality, and, with a blow from his heart, he almost died. If it wasn't for his body shifting a little distance, this blow would have pierced his heart. Rao is so, the current of 300 million volts has completely made him lose his combat effectiveness. He is now the fish and meat in Shajurching's hands, and can only be slaughtered by him. The masked man was horrified and regretted. But I can't escape if I want to. He couldn't help but feel a deep despair in his heart, and in that scarlet kaleidoscope, there was an unprecedented panic. He never thought that Shajurching would be so powerful. So much so that he didn't even have a chance to escape. Bang! And the attack of Tiandao Pain's black stick didn't even penetrate Shajurching's defense, but was kicked out by Shajurching with a kick. In the cave. PFF'd. The red-haired man suddenly spit out a big mouthful of blood, and his face was even more surprised. As expected of the Thunder Ninja, I underestimate you. However, don't think that's the end of it. Next, I'll show you the majesty of God. The red-haired man's eyes were full of awe-inspiring murderous intent, and his face became even more gloomy. Shajurching is here. Shish. Behind Shajurching, a sound of breaking the air suddenly came from all angles. And, at this time, Tiandao Pain released the universal pull, again, sucking Shajurching towards him. In front of Shajurching, several more Pain appeared and launched a cunning encircling attack, which was about to push Shajurching into a corner. Chapter 606. Understand the Power of God. Shajurching immediately released the masked man like a dead dog. Then, The fire in his hand danced rapidly as if it turned into a cold light, and all the enemies who were attacking were forced back. Then, when he turned around, he slashed with a sword and stabbed him with a black stick again, Tiandao Pain. Bang! Sparks flashed, sound waves burst. Tiandao Pain was completely unable to resist the terrifying power on Shazherqing's knife, and was shaken back. Shazherqing would not be merciful. He immediately bullied himself and swung a knife, and Tiandao Pain hurriedly resorted to almighty push to fight. Hey! Several figures suddenly appeared behind Shazherqing, those people just now. They all held black sticks and stabbed Shazherqing. What's more, a big fat man rushed directly to Shazherqing. How could Shazherqing let them succeed, and immediately retreated? But one of them suddenly grinned Isho, and then, even with his arm folded, it was just a few missiles. It's Shira Du Pain. Hey! Shazherqing immediately waved a sword wave to intercept the missile cannon. And in the smoke and dust of the explosion, a cold girl has already grabbed Shazherqing's head close. It's human. Shazherqing did not dare to neglect, this guy can pull away his soul. But behind him, the big fat man rushed over again. It was a hungry ghost. Can absorb all chakras. Rankyaku Tempest Kick. Shazherqing wants to force Pain back from these two ways. But how could Tiandao Pain let him succeed? What he has been waiting for is this moment. If he lets Shazherqing dodge, wouldn't it be a waste of time? Try the power of pain. Asshole, I am a god, no one can challenge my majesty. Even if you are the Thunder Ninja, you can only submit to me. In the cave, the red-haired young man shouted loudly, his expression quite ferocious. Universal pull. Tiandao Pain drank violently, and the super-gravitational force acted on Shazherqing, which attracted him to Tiandao Pain. Chidori Spear. Shazherqing drank violently, and also responded. But this blow was suddenly rushed by the hungry ghost Dao, absorbed in pain and joy. And when the hungry ghost Dao passed by, the fist of Shira Dao was already in sight. Bang! Even through the thunder light armor, Shazherqing felt the tremor of a powerful force, the heaven and the earth resonated and rumbled. Even Shazherqing couldn't help but feel that his blood was surging. Shira Road is indeed a battle king. Boom! He flew out like a shooting star. Quickly hit the air. But he immediately felt as if he had hit something soft and buffered a lot of strength for him. Just before he was happy, he felt that his chakra was fading fast. Shazherqing immediately knew who was the one who provided him with a buffer. Hungry Ghost Road. He directly grabbed Shazherqing and began to use his ability to absorb it like crazy. Hey! The girl from the human world came close again, with a faint blue light in her hand, which was an attack that could act on the soul. Rokushiki, 6 styles 6 king guns. Shazherqing shouted, and a destructive force spurted out from behind, shattering the hungry ghost Dao directly into the sky. Then, a single blow from Rankyaku Tempest Kick knocked the human girl out. Thunder Hunter, understand the power of God. But Tiandao Pain didn't know when to open and close his hands and shouted, Planetary Devastation. Chapter 607. The slap came too fast. Om! A small black sphere rose into the sky, making the air buzz. Then, a terrible thing happened. The earth was torn apart and sucked into the sky. Crack! A terrifying pulling force appeared, as if the gravity of the entire planet was acting on him. Even Shazherqing had no way to resist, and was pulled up into the sky. Chirp! Asura Road's head suddenly popped open, and chakra gathered inside. Then, it turned into a light cannon comparable to a virtual dog cannon and flew away, to hit Shazherqing again. Armed. Shazherqing felt that his movements were a little sluggish now, but he did not dare to neglect. Armament hockey covered the flowing fire sword, and a shocking sword intent erupted, hitting the light cannon. But Shira Road actually came close, with chainsaws, long swords, long spears, and even energy cannons popping out of his hands. I see you this time, how to resist. Looking at Shazherqing who was cornered, Tiandao Pain's eyes flashed. And the red-haired man in the cave also showed a proud smile. This is the end of rebellion against God. Thunder Ninja, bear the pain. Mortals can never rebel against gods. Gods are omnipotent. In his mind, planetary devastation is absolutely invincible. No one can resist this blow. He has self-confidence, even the Nine Tails can't resist. This is one of his strongest trump cards as a god. Back to the battlefield. When Tiandao Pain focused all his attention on Shazhiqing. Behind him, a lantern grass man quietly took the masked man away. This kind of attack, just want to beat me, you are really naive, Pain. Shazhiqing laughed, the power erupted, and the sword intent was vertical and horizontal, like an awakened wild beast. His right hand stabbed out, which was a Chidori strike, which directly shattered all the attacks of the Asura Dao and pierced through his body. Then, horizontally, tear him apart. As for planetary devastation, facing the huge boulders that were constantly being attracted from the ground, Shazhiqing seemed to light up as if his whole body was lit up, one knife-style profound meaning Quanri. The unimaginable terrifying power erupted, the sky was shattered, and a huge pothole was rolled over. A ray of sword energy pierced out like a hole through tofu, piercing the huge meteorite suspended in the sky. HMPH, do you think you can resist this move like this, naive? Don't think you can provoke the power of God. Before the last word, Yan, was finished, there was a shattering sound of click, and the gravitational force acting on the ground of Konoha suddenly disappeared. The stone suddenly fell, and Shazhiqing stood in the air on the moon step, looking down at Pen Ludao, who avoided the stone like a god. At this moment, Shazhiqing is the god. And Pen Ludao is nothing but a clown. PFF'd. In the cave, the red-haired young man shouted again, but he didn't know if he was too excited or the backlash was too big, and he even spat out a mouthful of blood. His face was already very pale, and now he looks even paler. Asshole. The red-haired youth was full of anger, and he was angry for a reason. Tiandao Pain said in a second that Shazhiqing is a person who is beyond his own power. He even wants to challenge the majesty of God, and wants to fight against planetary devastation, a divine trick. Unexpectedly, Shazhiqing slapped him in the face in the next second, breaking planetary devastation. Chapter 608 It's over, Pain. Calm down, Nagato, don't let him lead by the nose, you are a god, and you can think about problems correctly only by being calm. A cold and arrogant woman beside the red-haired man looked at this scene and opened his mouth to remind. I see, Xiao Nan. After listening to the woman's words, the red-haired man, Nagato took a long breath to calm down. On the battlefield. Fight, go on. Shazhiqing rushed directly to the hungry ghost realm. This guy has to be killed. In the original book, Jiraiya spent a lot of chakra by this guy. Spirituality. But obviously, Nagato would not let him succeed, and immediately let the animal Dao summon a powerful psychic beast to stop it. On the other side, Hell Dao is repairing the broken Asura Dao. The mere beasts dare to get in the way. Shazhiqing sneered disdainfully, the cold light flashed, and no one saw how he used the knife, and all the psychic beasts summoned by the animal Dao fell down. Then, in the face of the beast Dao who is going to attack again, and dodge out, there are also those who want to rush over to attack him, the human Dao, the heavenly Dao Pain. Shazhiqing shouted in knots, 1,000 birds flow. A dense and manic thunderbolt ripped apart the earth and flew around, with terrifying destructive power. Tiandao Pain and others did not dare to neglect, and immediately withdrew, and the seal of the beast was interrupted. Only the hungry ghost Dao, who was dodging originally, rushed over and wanted to absorb chakra. But Shazhiqing suddenly laughed. This smile made Tiandao Pain feel a little flustered for no reason. Shazhiqing, who was seeing him, quickly formed the seal, and then pointed to the sky and shouted, Lay done, heavenly tribulation and thunder punishment. Boom. Rolling dark clouds gathered, and there was a rushing electric light roaring, and then, a shocking thunder light smashed towards Tiandao Pain. Even if it has not yet come to the earth, it has already knocked the earth out of a wide pothole. The entire Konoha trembled because of this thunder light, with terrifying power. Hi! Facing this blow, Tiandao Pain was horrified. Nagato, who manipulated him, even felt a strong sense of oppression, his whole body tightened, and he felt fearful, unable to resist. This feeling, like facing an invincible enemy, made him tremble. Super Almighty Push. He hurriedly manipulated Tiandao Pain to release the strongest move, a blow with the power to push Konoha to fight. Boom! The nearby area was completely shrouded in lightning, and the terrifying explosion shattered everything around it as if the end of the world. But is this the end? How can it be? Shajirching finally took it seriously. How could it end like this? Boom boom boom. Another manic thunder light crashed down, and the target was the other 5 Pain. Super Almighty Push requires a lot of energy from Nagato, so the effort for the other 5 is not enough. And this is exactly what Shajirching wanted. By attacking the illusion of Hungry Ghost, Nagato thinks that his target is Hungry Ghost, and focus on Hungry Ghost. Then, at this time, use the Heavenly Tribulation Thunder Punishment to aim at Tiandao Pain, so that Nagato's attention is suddenly shifted to Tiandao Pain, and all his energy is on it. In this way, Shajirching can easily eliminate the other 5 Pain. Otherwise, if you don't do some tricks, it's really not that easy to beat them with the difficulty of Pain's 6 paths. Chapter 609 Terrifying Strength. In Shajirching's observation hockey, in the thunder light, Wudao Pain had no time to resist, and was wiped out by the manic thunder light that could destroy everything. Of course, when the thunder light dissipated, Konoha also turned into ruins within a range of nearly 500 meters. But unfortunately, it is close to the residents, and the residents have been evacuated to the shelter in advance. Otherwise, it is really possible to cause huge casualties. Then, it's you next. Heavenly Pain. Shajirching looked at the last Heavenly Dao Pain, and saw that he was bruised, bones were thick, and his body was crippled. However, before Shajirching could act, Tiandao Pain turned into smoke and disappeared. Has Nagato started? I really underestimate you, the reaction speed is quite fast. In this regard, Shajirching could only touch his nose. It's really a bit unpleasant. Shajirching returned his sword and sheathed it, looked at his embarrassed outfit, couldn't help sighing, and disappeared in place. In the battle just now, he roughly estimated the force value of Pen's 6 paths, 510. But without knowing his abilities, for a ninja, the danger may be higher than that of Nine Tails. After all, the Nine Tails can still be sealed, and cannot be reborn, nor will it absorb chakra. The battle with Pain Ludao was the most enjoyable battle after he came to this world, and the battle with the Nine Tails. 80% of the strength has been exerted, and the process is also thrilling. I am really looking forward to fighting with Madara Uchiha, Senju Hashima. It's just that I may not be able to wait for that kind of time. Well, forget it, let's go back and fight Kaido, Bigumum and the others. The way of fighting in this world, after all, doesn't match the way I fight. Shajirching shook his head and left. Shajirching has left. However, Nagato in the cave couldn't believe this result at all. Since he got Rinnegan, he who claims to be a god has never been defeated by others. A demigod and a demigod, he's just a chicken and a dog. Those S-level rebels in the ninja world can only submit to him. Even if it is Renzuli, he can easily suppress it. Before that, Nagato even felt that he had no opponent in the ninja world, so he pretended to be a god. But today, he actually lost, to Shajirching, and it was a fiasco. Shajirching wasn't hurt at all, just a little embarrassed. But he lost 5 pens. If he hadn't reacted quickly and recalled Tiandao, I'm afraid the whole army would have been wiped out. This is unacceptable to Nagato. I am used to being invincible, but suddenly there is someone who is more invincible than him. It should be the same for anyone. How can there be such a powerful ninja? This is impossible. Nagato's fingernails were pinched into the palm of his hand, and his face was twisted and sinister low. This blow was too deadly for him. Shajirching directly shattered his invincibility. Since then, he has either collapsed, or he has worked hard. Another unknown somewhere. It's evil. A person who is tightly wrapped in white matter still has lingering fear in his eyes, but he has a strong sense of unwillingness and anger. The Thunder Ninja is strong to this level. This sentence, he is full of powerlessness. Too strong. Since the awakening of his kaleidoscope, he has only suffered at the hands of Minato Namikaze. But even then, he still has the energy to escape. It's just not as good as people. Chapter 610. Where is Danzo-sama going? However, this time, he doesn't even have the ability to escape. Shajirching defeated him so easily, and severely injured him to the point of death. The point is, he didn't even know what happened, and he was hit so hard. The unknown is the most frightening thing. He swore that he would never provoke Shajirching without absolute certainty in the future. He doesn't want to die again. Root tissue export. Lord Danzo, where are you taking so many people? Shajirching changed her outfit, put her hands on her sleeves, and asked with a smile on her face. How are you here? Seeing Shajirching, Danzang's pupils couldn't help shrinking, and he could see the horror in it. According to his plan, at this moment, Shajirching should be the leader of the Shao organization and lose both, so there is not much fighting power. How could it appear here, and, still alive, without any injury? Why, Danzo-sama, I'm surprised to see me here. Glancing at Tuanzang's face, Shajirching said jokingly. HMPH, Hugh's bloody mouth spit, how could this old man have such thoughts? Get out of the way, the rebellion of the Uchiha clan requires the strength of this old man, and it must not be allowed to cause trouble to Konoha. Danzo looked at Shajirching with a serious face, and scolded loudly. Is it really just suppressing the rebellion of the Uchiha clan? Shajirching seemed to be able to see through Danzang's inner thoughts, and asked in a leisurely manner. That's natural. What, do you suspect that the old man has other purposes? Danzang's face suddenly turned gloomy, watching Shajirching speak in a bad tone. How come? How dare I doubt Danzo-sama? Since it's all support, let's go all the way. Please, Danzo-sama. Shajirching put on a very respectful appearance, and let Danzang pass by. Humph. Danzang didn't know what medicine Sha Muyang sold in this gourd, so he could only snort and be right. When Shajirching, Danzang and others arrived, the battle had already reached a fiery stage. After all, it is the Uchiha clan, which is much more powerful than the Hyuga clan, who claim to be the strongest. The troops are quite rich, even if it is against Anbu, which is directly under Hokage, it is not difficult. Even because of the large number of people, it once suppressed the Hokage team. Shajirching, it's great that you're fine. When seeing Shajirching and Danzo coming, Namikaze Minato was really happy. Really happy. The reason why Minato Namikaze was so rude is because when Minato Namikaze just participated in the battle, there was a terrifying momentum in the direction where Shajirching was. That battle can be felt even from a dozen miles away. Namikaze Minato is very clear that only Shajirching can make such a movement in Konoha. But this movement lasted for a long time, making Minato, who was accustomed to Shajirching's 3 or 2 fights, suddenly sink to the bottom. He knew that Shajirching had encountered a formidable enemy, otherwise, it wouldn't have dragged on for so long before appearing on their battlefield. Later, the terrifying meteorite appeared in the sky, and even Shajirching was sucked up by the meteorite. At that moment, Namikaze Minato only felt like falling into an ice cellar. Shajirching is too important to Konoha, he is an important deterrent. Without him, Konoha will definitely have many crises. Fortunately, Shajirching broke through that defense later. Chapter 611 Surrender, Uchiha. But the battle after that rose to a new level in an instant. When the rolling thunder and shocking Minato, he couldn't help worrying about Shajirching. It is necessary to use such a terrifying thunder. How powerful the enemy is. Can Shajirching really defeat him? Then, the huge movement suddenly disappeared, and the deadly silence made Minato Namikaze even more uncomfortable. He guessed in his heart that Shajirching would not lose both sides with the enemy and perish together. If this is the case, he can't deal with Danzo, who is secretly eyeing, and other reactionary forces. After all, because of the invasion of foreign enemies, it was enough for him to deal with the rebellious Uchiha clan alone. And the Uchiha family also did not miss this opportunity, and they kept hitting their morale. The effect is remarkable. The morale of Anbu members has been slumped a lot, but Minato Namikaze has no way to improve their morale. Shajirching does not appear. Any of his agitation words are just nonsense, a castle in the air, without any substantial foundation support. The battle situation is going downhill. If Shajirching doesn't show up again, they will really lose. Fortunately, now Shajirching has appeared, and appeared in front of them intact, which instantly injected a shot of cardio tonic into the wave. When Shajirching came, morale immediately improved. Moreover, Namikaze Minato no longer has to worry about the people who are staring at him in the dark. These people, with Shajirching in them, dare not make trouble. Surrender, Uchiha clan. I know many of you are forced. Continuing to fight is just a dead end. I can promise you that as long as you surrender, only the main personnel will be held accountable. We will not implicate your children, and give you better treatment and environment for the Uchiha family. How? Namikaze Minato shouted loudly, preparing to persuade him to surrender. The idea of Namikaze Minato is great. But unfortunately, it is not suitable for the Uchiha family. HMPH, rhetoric, no sincerity at all. Our Uchiha clan will not surrender. Today you die or I live, kill. The people of the Uchiha family didn't buy it at all, but they became even more vicious. Then there is no way, Lord Hokage, let's suppress it by force. Konoha needs to restore order quickly, and there are still many things to deal with in the future. Shajirching sighed, half pitiful glanced at the people of the Uchiha clan. Then, he glanced at the lonely Uchiha Fuyu again, and said to Danzo, Lord Danzo, it's up to you. Of course, the latter is bound to give an offensive order to a member of a root organization behind him. Alas! Seeing the addition of the root organization, Minato Namikaze couldn't help sighing. Then, his expression suddenly became extremely firm. Since the Uchiha family is unwilling to surrender, they can only suppress it with absolute force. He glanced at Danzang and said, I really thank Mr. Danzang for appearing in time, which relieved my urgent need. I didn't expect your troops to be so abundant. Danzo couldn't help but snorted after hearing Minato Namikaze's words. His original plan was to use force to suppress the rebellion of the Uchiha clan when Shajirching and Pen Ludao were fighting to the death, and then forcefully seize the power of Namaifung Minato. Then, collude with Mito Manyon, take control of Konoha, and put Namikaze Minato under house arrest. Chapter 612 Things That Shouldn't Be Taken Away. When Minato was placed under house arrest, Shajirching could not get out of his body, and he might even be severely injured and comatose. He and Mito Manyon would naturally be able to outperform Xiaochun and complete this power seizure. As for the 3 generations of Hokage, in his plan, this is already a dead person. But who would have thought that Shajirching appeared in front of him unscathed, disrupting all his plans? Moreover, he also exposed his hidden troops in front of Minato. What a big mistake. With Danzo's troops joining in, coupled with Shajirching's deterrence, where is the Uchiha clan an opponent? They originally thought that at the moment of the Konoha crisis, the troops should be empty, and they should be successful. Who would have thought that even if the troops were empty, the remaining troops would be enough to deal with their rebellion? Finally, the rebellion, at 8 o'clock in the evening, was over. Uchiha Fuyuke and Uchiha Makoto became the leaders of the rebellion without a doubt, and were escorted to the most conspicuous position. Alas! He sighed deeply, already looking like he was ready to die at any time. Since there is nothing to do, the old man will go back first. After Danzo finished speaking, he was about to return with the members of the root organization that he talked about. Although the most desired goal has not been achieved, at least, the collection of writing wheel eyes has been completed. Namikaze Minato couldn't deny it, but Shajir-Ching suddenly laughed and said, "Wait a minute." Danzo couldn't help shaking when he heard the words, and he couldn't help but groan. Did he find something? Thinking of this, a haze flashed across his face. But immediately, he denied it. Impossible, I'm so secretive, how could he find out, unless he already knew that my plan was almost the same. Thinking of this, he pretended to be serious, his eyes were quite bad, he turned around and asked, I don't know what's the matter. Consultant Shajir-Ching. Lord Danzo, you have indeed worked hard to suppress the rebellion, but... Speaking of this, Shajir-Ching's tone suddenly became playful. If you shouldn't take things away, it's not in line with the rules. After listening, Danzang's pupils shrank, and the horror in his heart couldn't be added. But he is an old fox after all, and his ability to open his eyes and talk nonsense is not bad. What are you talking about? I don't understand. Advisor Shajir-Ching. He was very dissatisfied and asked, I took something that shouldn't be taken away. Shajir-Ching also laughed when he heard the words, Lord Danzo is really good at joking, and he is really forgetful. Since you don't remember, let me remind you. Shajir-Ching's tone suddenly became icy cold, and her eyes were incomparably sharp as she said, sharing round eyes. Hearing Shajir-Ching's words, Minato Namaifeng rushed forward as if he was suddenly stabbed. Shajir-Ching, you are not kidding. Namikaze Minato said in disbelief, but there was a hidden fierceness in his eyes. Even Uchiha Fugaku couldn't help showing his anger. If this is true, then Danzo will really be outraged. Oh, of course it's not true. All the troops of this old man are under your surveillance. How can you have time to do this kind of thing? After listening to this, Danzang looked at Shajir-Ching sarcastically and said. He said recklessly, if you don't believe me, Lord Hokage can go and check my team. Chapter 613 Everyone gets their money. But if not, Danzang's tone suddenly became unkind. Advisor Shajir-Ching, you have to take responsibility. He asked himself that his technique was hidden, and no one but him knew how to obtain it. Moreover, Namikaze Minato might not really dare to investigate. The matter is of great importance, and he doesn't believe that Namikaze Minato has the courage. But sometimes it's not good to be too arrogant. It is easy to be slapped in the face, and even put yourself in a place of doom. Does this still need to be checked? Saying that, Shajir-Ching grabbed one and slapped him on the forehead, and the chakra flame appeared. I saw a sealing technique appear on this person, and then a pair of writing wheel eyes fell out. The expression on Danzo's face instantly froze. The surrounding atmosphere also solidified in an instant. Minato Namikaze had expressions of shock, anger, and disappointment on his face, but his eyes became sharper and sharper. Danzo, you bastard! It was Uchiha Fugaku who was the first to break the silence. Like an angry lion, he shouted at Danzo. Maybe if he hadn't been tied up, he would have rushed over and tore Danzo. Sir Danzo, do you have anything else to say? Shajir-Ching picked up the pair of bloody, fresh writing wheels on the ground and asked. You, Danzang pointed at Shajir-Ching, and didn't say anything for a while, but his face was extremely ugly. Lord Danzo, let all the members of your root organization go back with me to be investigated. If there is no Shajir-Ching, at such a critical juncture when the troops are weak, it is really possible that the big things will be reduced to the small, and the small things will be dealt with later. But now, Namikaze Minato will not hesitate. There are indeed many people in the root organization, and his Anbu subordinates are not vegetarians, and they have been surrounded. Coupled with Shajir-Ching's shock and deterrence, making these people avoid the rat, he has the confidence to control the situation. Moreover, now that the evidence is sufficient, I am not afraid of Danzang's denial. How do you know this? Don't you have a spy inside the old man? Tuanzang stared at Shajirqing and asked fiercely. Ha, this kind of thing still needs spies. Shajirqing smiled, with great contempt. I used my ability to sweep it away, and they told me themselves. Don't forget, I can communicate with cats and dogs, and naturally, I can communicate with humans occasionally. Hearing Shajirqing's answer, Danzang's face suddenly looked like a concubine. He knew that he had fallen, and he had a big somersault. But it doesn't matter, it's not a big crime, isn't it? His position will not be shaken. Next, he will let Shajirqing know wrong. Take it away. With the order of Minato Namikaze, these members of the root organization were taken away by Minato Namikaze and his Anbu. The Uchiha family was handed over to Shajirqing. This rebellion that spread throughout Konoha was suppressed like this. Konoha restores calm. The next day. Today, let's discuss the handling of the Uchiha family. With a tired face, Minato Namikaze looked at the advisors present and said. Among them, Xiaochun turned calm and Shajirqing was in a daze. Danzo's face was ugly, and Mito Menyen's face was even more panicked. Last night, a total of more than 100 pairs of Sharingan were found from Danzang's subordinates. Then, after they were all destroyed, they were burned on the spot. Danzo's loss is not too big, he really hates Shajirqing now. Chapter 614 Mitoman is panicking. Of course, Danzo was only reprimanded by Minato Namika about this matter, and it would not affect his status. After all, although this matter is not very glorious, it is not a capital crime. As for Mito Menyen, his panic was because he didn't get a signal from Danzo all night last night. Later, when he saw that Danzo was actually escorted back, he directly thought that Danzo was exposed. Until now, he has not gotten the slightest word. How can he not panic? He had agreed with Danzo to rebel and seize power. He was afraid that Danzo said something unfavorable to him last night, so how could he not panic? He frequently asks Tuanzang, hoping to get some hints from him. But it's a pity that Danzo is in a very bad mood right now, and he doesn't have the heart to flirt with anyone. At this time, Minato Namikaze said, Everyone, let's discuss the follow-up of the Uchiha clan's rebellion. My opinion is that the main personnel will be killed, and the rest will be sentenced to imprisonment according to the size of the crime. The children of the Uchiha clan will not be held accountable, and they will be taught, and the Uchiha clan's patriarch and his wife are coerced and can be dealt with lightly. After speaking, he looked at the crowd and asked for their opinions. Turning to bed, Xiaochun asked, It seems that such a light treatment is not enough to shock people. Danzang snorted coldly, The rebels should all be wiped out. Why should Master Hokage be a woman? Do you have to repeat the same mistakes to be satisfied? Mito Menyen also nodded in agreement. Although he doesn't know what's going on now, he and Danzo have the same opinion on the Uchiha family's affairs. As far as now, the three of them have almost the same opinion, and feel that the sentence of Namikaze Minato is too light. What about you, Consultant Shajirqing? Minato Namaifeng seemed to have expected this situation long ago, and was not surprised at all, and then asked Shang Shajirqing. This article by Shajirqing is quite critical. I agree with Danzo-sama's opinion, not killing people is not enough to shock people. Hearing Shajirqing's words, Minato couldn't help being a little surprised, even unexpected. He did not expect that Shajirqing would suddenly sing against him. But Danzo and Mito Menyen are not surprised. Shajirqing, who has always been against them, actually stood on a united front with them today, which made them overjoyed. Only Namikaze Minato was very anxious. Without Shajirqing's support, he would not be able to do the next work. Just when he wanted to hint Shajirqing and let him support him, Shajirqing said again, Don't get me wrong, I haven't finished yet. Shajirqing, but those children are indeed innocent, and the 3 or 2-year-olds are also affected. If they don't understand anything, they will face extinction. This is not appropriate. I support Hokage-sama, kill a group, punish a group, and pardon a group. I believe that with the guidance of Lord Hokage, these people will take the right path in the future. Besides, the rebellion of the Uchiha clan should be related to the fact that some people always treat others with unnecessary and specify policies. There is a saying that officials force the people to rebel, and the people have to rebel. If I were treated like this, I would rebel too. No one can stand to be stabbed in the back for blood and sweat. Shajir-Ching's words are very rude. The spear is directed at Danzo and the others. Isn't that the group of people who treat others with unnecessary in Shajir-Ching's mouth? Chapter 615 Danzo, you have today too. HMPH, Advisor Shajir-Ching is really joking. What does this have to do with this old man? On the contrary, if the old man hadn't moved them to the border, the loss of Konoha would have been even greater. It's fine if you don't show merit to the old man, and you scold the old man, what's the point? This is not where you confuse black and white. Danzo responded in a very bad manner, and his eyes were full of sharp brilliance. Mito Menyon and Xiaochun both looked at Shajir-Ching with a gloomy expression, their eyes sharp. Danzo consultant, you have the grievances of persecuting the Uchiha clan before, and then you are the one who sees the shaker in the chaos. Shajir-Ching pondered Isho, I have reason to suspect that you did this on purpose. Also, Danzo-sama, your root organization members are a bit too many. This is beyond the norm. Are you planning to rebel, or do you think Hokage-sama's Anbu is not enough to protect Konoha? As soon as Shajir-Ching said these words, it was as if a bomb had been detonated, and several people present could not help but hum in their heads. Even Namikaze Minato did not expect Shajir-Ching to say so. But he immediately reacted, if this perfect opportunity is missed, there will be no more in the future. He also asked aloud, Lord Danzo, give me an explanation, otherwise, I also know that the members of your root organization have been disbanded and reorganized. Danzo's face suddenly darkened, and his fists hidden in his sleeves clucked loudly. At this moment, his face turned ashen with anger. I agree with Naruto-sama's approach. Danzo understood the reason why he was attacked and threw out his own conditions. Hearing Danzo's answer, a pity flashed in Nikaze Minato's eyes, and he sat back. Danzo avoided answering the question of his own organization members, and instead agreed with his point of view, which made him feel aggrieved when he was beaten on cotton. But now that the soldiers are out, he doesn't dare to force Danzo too much. If something bad happens, he, Hokage, is to blame. Danzo's sudden reversal made Mito Menyon and Kaharu feel very uncomfortable. For a long time, these old guys, relying on their seniority, have always fought against the young Hokage like Minato Nikaze. At one time, the Wave Wind Water Gate was emptied, and took the opportunity to seize a lot of benefits. They were even about to see Minato Namikaze as a puppet and didn't take him seriously at all. It's just that the existence of the 3 generations of Hokage has greatly suppressed them and made them dare not be too presumptuous. But this time, the 3 generations of Hokage went on an expedition. They thought they had an opportunity and thought they could completely suppress Minato Nikaze and seize the benefits. I never thought that without the 3 generations of Hokage, they would lose in a blink of an eye. It gave them a bad feeling. And watching Danzang and the others deflated, Shajir-Ching felt a sense of comfort. In itself, he has a grudge against Mito Menyon, and this guy is against Shajir-Ching everywhere. Danzo, who may feel that Shajir-Ching has affected his interests, is also finding fault everywhere. In recent years, it was because Anmura Nobuomi and the others rejected his invitation to the root organization, and they harassed them from time to time. For example, when the Land of the Land encountered the 5-tailed Manzuli, Shajir-Ching later verified that it was Danzo who did it. But at that time, Shajir-Ching had no evidence, plus the 3 generations of Hokage interceded, and even got through Jasmine to intercede. To be honest, Shajir-Ching was really angry and helpless towards Jasmine, and later, this matter was over. Chapter 616 Bright Willows. But Danzo still has to find fault with Shajirqing and his students from time to time. Shajirqing and Danzo have had a grudge for a long time. And now, given the opportunity, how could Shajirqing not take revenge? And this is just the beginning of Shajirqing, who must be reported by Jairus. Next, Namikaze Minato will not let go of those excess troops from Danzo. And Shajirqing is more concerned about his human experiments. He wants to hide in a group and lose his reputation. It's just that there is still a third generation of Hokage, so it's a bit difficult to start. The prestige of the 3 generations of Hokage is too high. If he blocks it, public opinion will not prevail. And Namikaze Minato also respects the 3 generations of Hokage. The 3 generations of Hokage do not agree, and he will definitely not execute it to the end. In this case, the whole operation is nothing more than an anticlimactic, but it is easy to scare the snake, and it is impossible to kill with one blow. In the end, it will fuel Danzo's arrogance. This is not what Shajirqing wanted. In the end, after some intense discussions, the solution to the Uchiha family was released. Kill the main participants, the initiators, and the remaining participants will be sentenced to 10 years or more in prison, hoping to be a new person when they return. The Uchiha family patriarch and his wife wait for their release and manage the Uchiha family. The children of the Uchiha family will not be punished, but Uchiha Itachi is promoted to Shangnin, and Uchiha Izumi is promoted to Chunin. Relocate the Uchiha clan, explain the truth of the Nine Tails Rebellion, restore the Uchiha clan's treatment, reputation, prohibit discrimination against the Uchiha clan, and live in peace. To be honest, as soon as this policy was introduced, many villagers could not accept it. But for the sake of both Namikaze Minato and Shajirqing's signatures and guarantees, they believe in the Uchiha family for the time being. Needless to say, Shajirqing, the great hero of the country of fire, the super popular rich man of Konoha, the super popular mentor, the first-class powerhouse. He is also a big hero of Konoha, turning the tide, saving Konoha from distress, and devoting himself to solving problems such as illness and poverty. It is an absolutely positive image. And Namikaze Minato, since he served as the 4th Hokage, the public has seen the results. Absolutely trustworthy Hokage. Therefore, even if there is a slight criticism, they are still willing to comply. When Uchiha Fuyu heard the verdict, he was stunned for a while, and then thanked him with a complicated expression. The majority of the Uchiha clan members were also shocked. I thought they were all dead, but in the end, who would have imagined that a considerable number of people would not have to die? Most importantly, their children will not be implicated. Let's take a look at the situation after going out. If my Uchiha family is really not treated unfairly, why not give up on him Konoha? Many people have come to their senses after being arrested. Konoha is not an existence that they can fight against, and the idea that they want to rebel is just a ridiculous idea from the Arabian Nights. Patriarch, I regret not listening to you, but I still have the cheek to beg you, take good care of my boy, let him grow up in peace, don't think about it, and don't repeat the mistakes I have made. Many people looked at Uchiha Fuyuke with a complicated face and knelt down and pleaded. Don't worry, I am the patriarch, this is my responsibility. I will ask Hokage-sama to visit you every other month. After speaking, he sighed and left. Of course, there are people who wake up and regret it, and naturally there are people who do not repent, or pretend to be asleep. Chapter 617 Transplant the Writing Wheel. This is all Konoha's conspiracy, watch it, you all have to die. What is not to be held accountable? I think, this is just a plan to delay the army, and when the Konoha soldiers return, it will be your death. These words naturally shook the confidence of those repenting Uchiha clan people. But how could Shajirqing and Namifung Minato couldn't think of such a thing, so they came to comfort these people in person. They may not believe it, but Shajirqing, they absolutely believe it. Because of his identity, he is not only a Konoha Hokage consultant, but also a guard inspection school in the country of fire. It is impossible not to be trustworthy. After appeasing these people, the next things Namaifung Minato will be easy. Danzo wanted to make a move, but unfortunately, Minato Namikaze would not let him succeed. Directly dispatch a team of Anbu to enter the root organization, and every move is under control. And Mito Gateyan was frightened and panicked by Shajirching's sentence. Danzo-sama seems to have planned something with you, and he didn't dare to move. The remaining one is Xiaochun, who can't turn over the waves. Namikaze Minato and Shajirching have patience. Just waiting to slowly clean up these three old guys. The 3 generations of Hokage can't protect them for a lifetime. Although the process is a bit more complicated, I finally got it. In a certain secret room in the Sha mansion, there is actually a decoration of an operating room. Shajirching looked at the transparent bottle in his hand, and a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. This bottle is filled with solution, and in the solution, a pair of writing wheel eyes floats. 1-3 hook jade, 1-2 hook jade. This is exactly the person Shajirching wants to match with the person who wants to match. Let's get started. Shajirching lay down on the operating table and handed the bottle to the shadow avatar dressed as a medical ninja beside him. This matter, Shajirching can rest assured only if it is handed over to the shadow clone. Isn't he learning medical ninjutsu just for this day? Healing the sick and saving people is just a matter of buying the hearts of the people. The transplant process went pretty smoothly. The matching is also quite successful, and there is no excessive rejection. Moreover, under the powerful mental power of Shajirching, the other eye has also evolved into a 3-goose jade. It feels good to see the light again. Shajirching squinted at himself in the mirror and said. With Shajirching's control, when you don't want to use Sharingan, you can naturally turn it off. Outsiders can't see anything. Moreover, even if he suddenly has eyes, it is not strange. After all, as Konoha's well-known medical ninja now, it's nothing to make a fuss about having an eye transplanted. As long as he doesn't use a shaker, no one can say anything. That's how you can be considered a normal person. Of course, Shajirching, who is accustomed to squinting, couldn't change for a while now to do things with his eyes open. But observation haki has improved a lot during this time, and this is probably the only gain. System, when will you wake up? I've been in this world for 6 years, you can't let me stay for another 6 years. Sha Muyang thought in his heart. But what he didn't know was that he was likely to stay for another 6 years. Even longer. Now that the interior of Konoha has basically settled down, it's time to end the external war and recuperate. On this day, Minato Namaifung approached Shajirching and discussed this matter. Chapter 618 The Death of 3 Hokage. Where does Naruto-sama want to support? Hearing this, Shajirching raised his brows, wanting to hear the opinion of Namaifung Minato first. In this way, his answer will have enough leeway. Hearing Shajirching's words, Minato couldn't help sighing secretly, deep scheming. Then, after thinking about it, he said, Misty Hidden Village. Hearing Minato Nikaze's answer, Shajirching showed an unexpected expression. Seeing this at Namikaze Minato, I couldn't help being a little surprised and asked, do you think so too? Wuin Village has always been isolated from the world, and no one knows how many troops it has. If it weren't for Union Village's aggressiveness and the dispatch of 2 people, Zuli, to make our troops tense. How could Your Excellency Lu Ju only send 8,000 troops to support Wuin Village? 8,000 troops to support Wuin Village is really inappropriate, but under the circumstances, there is no other way. Now that the interior of Konoha is generally stable, it is natural to support the Wuin Village battlefield, and we cannot let our army bear unknown risks. After hearing Shajirching's words, Minato Namikaze let out a long sigh and said, You agree with me. As for Wuin Village, I'll leave it to you. I know that your strength is the highest in the world, so it's just right to send you there. Konoha is currently short of troops, so forgive me for not being able to send you additional manpower. It doesn't matter to me that one more person or one less person, all set off. Shajirching didn't care that he didn't have a subordinate. Yeah, Minato nods his head, and Shajirching exits. Not long after, Minato Namikaze got news from Anbu. Shajirching has left Konoha. Shajirching chose to support the Wuin village battlefield, and there was another reason why he didn't tell Minato Namikaze. After all, my sister is there, I will definitely go there in person. The actual situation, just as Shajirching expected, was terrible. Because of the isolation of Wuin village, it is extremely difficult to inquire about news. Therefore, the Konoha army, who did not know the strength of Wuin village, had an accident after 3 days of fighting. And this accident was like a bolt from the blue for Konoha. How could this kind of thing happen? That's... With a gloomy expression on his face, Hinata clenched his fists. He looked at the man lying in a pool of blood in disbelief, and said hoarsely, Dr. Ninjutsu, the third generation of Hokage. On the third day of the war, 2 reinforcements suddenly arrived from Wuin village, all of them wearing auspicious clouds with a black background. Some people recognized them on the spot. They were Tang Ninja Village S-level Rebel Ninja Feijuan, and Taki Ninja Village S-class Rebel Ninja Capital. Originally, there were 3 generations of Hokage in charge. Even if the enemy is present, the Konoha side also has the Hyuga clan, and the Konoha 3 new stars are helping, and the Konoha army is not afraid. However, just this morning, the 4th generation of Mizukage, together with Feijuan and Jiaodu, fought against the 3rd generation of Hokage in the village of Wuin. At the beginning, the 3 generations of Hokage fully demonstrated his strength as a ninjutsu doctor, and a pair of 3 did not fall behind. However, all this changed after the flying section scratched the 3rd Hokage and set up that battle. That Feijuan started to self-mutilate while standing in the battle, and every part of his self-mutilation was repeated on the 3 generations of Hokage. Everyone didn't have time to react, and the flying section pierced through his heart. The 1st generation of Shinobi, the 3rd generation of Hokage Sarutobi Hizen, actually only had time to perform the forbidden technique, the Ghoul Seal, and abolish the right hand of the 4th generation of Mizukage, and then he fell sadly. Chapter 619 The excitement brought by Shajirching. This result directly caused the Konoha army to be in a state of mourning. The morale plummeted, and it could even be said that the army was defeated. Even with the prestige of Hyuga Hazu, it is not enough to restore morale. What? The 3 generations of Hokage-sama have fallen. Even though Nara's deer have been in war for a long time, they have calmed down. But when I heard the news, I couldn't help but be shocked. Then, there was a little disbelief. That is the 3 generations of Hokage. After the 2nd and 3rd Ninja World War, Shinobu is safe and sound. Did you die like this? It's so unrealistic. But whether he believed it or not, it was true. When he passed the news back to Konoha, Minato Namikaze was also shocked. He did not expect that the 3 generations of Hokage would die in action. This is an amazing thing. Hurry up and send the order. Advisor Shajirching has already rushed to Wuin village, so everyone must hold on. Namikaze Minato is Hokage after all, so he quickly gave the order, regardless of the pain and shock. He knew that Konoha's army must be panicking now, like scattered sand. Stabilizing morale, this thing is very important. No matter where Narashikahisa dared to neglect, he passed the news to the army on the front line of Karayan village through Yamanaka Kaiichi. Mr. Shajirching is here. It's great. If there is anyone in Konoha who can give these people confidence, then Shajirching must be one of them. Suppressing the 9 tails, riding Poyin Ren alone, how powerful. Oh. Sure enough, when they heard the news that Shajirching had arrived, everyone immediately burst into an unprecedented high morale. With Shajirching there, they believed that they would be able to drive the enemy out. Why did these guys from Konoha village suddenly feel like they were taking stimulants? Their morale soared. What happened? And this made the people of Wuin village a little confused. Don't worry about so much. Konoha today is just a mass of loose sand, and the combat power is greatly reduced. Seize the opportunity, it will change if you are late. We must teach Konoha a lesson so that we can get the resources we want. The one who spoke was Mizukage Yakura, the 4th generation. Yes. Everyone took orders, and they all led their troops to launch a fierce attack on Konoha again. Jia, Konoha guy, surrender now, don't be stubborn anymore. Do you think you can still fight against us? That's right, just put down your weapons and surrender. Without the 3 generations of Hokage, you are nothing. Ha ha ha, you are now a group of bereaved dogs, surrender. The absolute advantage we have over you, you are just doing nothing. No matter how much you resist, it will not change your final fate. The ninjas of Korean village were madly speaking against the morale of the Konoha army. However, it was okay to say before, now that Konoha's ninjas knew that Shajirching was coming, there was only infinite indignation in their hearts. The words of the ninjas of Korean village will not only not damage the morale of the Konoha ninjas, but will only make their morale even higher. The mourners will win. Bang! 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 And this, in Konoha's various high-level combat power, is most vividly shown. What's the matter? Could it be that the Watermelon Mountain Puffer Ghost, one of the 7 dignified ninja swordsmen, has only so much strength? Anmura Nobuomi held a long knife in hand, and actually suppressed the Watermelon Mountain Puffer Fish at a disadvantage. Chapter 620. It must be nice to have you as a gift. Why, your 3 generations of Hokage died, why do you still have such strong morale? The Watermelon Mountain Puffer Ghost asked with a puzzled expression. You know, before this, he has been suppressing Konoha ninja. He didn't realize that Anmura Nobuomi had such a strong strength. Why all of a sudden, Konoha's ninjas, like taking stimulants, are fighting with high spirits, not to mention, their strength has soared. Seeing the Konoha ninja fighting desperately, the Watermelon Mountain Pufferfish is a little confused. HMPH, how can I tell you such a secret thing? Upon hearing this, Nobume Anmura despised Isho, and kicked it out after raising her leg. Wind escape vacuum jade. Ankyun Shinmei quickly formed the seal, and a terrifying high-pressure wind cannon blasted out, and the ground was blown apart. Shark muscle, devour me. But the Watermelon Mountain Pufferfish can become a group of 7 ninja knives, and the natural strength is extraordinary, and the shark muscle that can devour all chakras is blocked in front of it. Although the shark muscle cannot swallow the chakra attack. However, his defense is the same as that of his elder brother Isofuk Mio, capable of defending against most ninjutsu attacks. As long as the host chakra is strong, he even dares to fight against the tailed beast Jade. Unfortunately, the Watermelon Mountain Puffer Fish is the least lacking in chakra. Therefore, the Zigwa Mountain Puffer Ghost that I saw was only shaken back by more than 10 meters. Even if the earth shook and burst, the Watermelon Mountain Puffer Fish was never injured in the slightest. Moreover, in the face of Yasunya Nobuomi, who was rushing over, he launched an attack on the ground, Ninja, Needle 1000. His brown-yellow hair instantly turned into 1,000 sharp books and flew out, piercing through gold and stone. Bang! But Anmura Nobuomi's reaction speed was even faster, and with a bang, it became a stand in wood, and there were several detonating charms attached to it. Make the most of it. The Watermelon Mountain Puffer Fish couldn't help being surprised. He quickly stepped back, and was affected by this explosive talisman, and he couldn't get any better. But the profound truth of Kendo Fei Lu. Anmura Nobuomi appeared from behind him, and turned into a streamer and passed by with the Watermelon Mountain Puffer Fish. Bang! The Watermelon Mountain Puffer Ghost turned into a stand-in. But he drank it out in pain. Damn woman, you annoyed me. But there was a deep bloodstain behind him. His stand-in technique is still a step behind. That's right. Exactly what I want. Facing the angry Watermelon Mountain Puffer Fish, Anmura Nobuomi was not afraid at all, only excited. If you can behead one level before teacher Shajirching comes, it must be a good gift. In the eyes of Anmura Nobumi, the watermelon mountain pufferfish is just prey. Damn woman, give me death. The watermelon mountain pufferfish swung the shark muscle and slashed, shouting, cut down. Boom. But as a disciple of a kendo master like Shajir Ching, Nobume Anmura worked the hardest, and his swordsmanship was equally extraordinary. No matter how fierce and cunning the watermelon mountain pufferfish is, there is no way to break through the defense of Nobume Anmura. Just kidding, no matter how fierce the watermelon mountain pufferfish is, it is not as fierce as Shajir Ching. HMPH, woman, taste my power. The watermelon mountain pufferfish suddenly grinned, and Anmura Nobumi secretly said that it was not good, so she wanted to step back. But the watermelon mountain pufferfish will let it go, and the heavy blow hit Anmura Nobumi's knife, and shouted, eat the kai.